Don't come over or call. We're finished. I stared at those words until they blurred. My son Josh, 26 years old, working at some tech startup in Brooklyn, living with a girl I'd met exactly twice. The phone felt heavy in my hand, like it might slip through my fingers and shatter on the kitchen floor. I was standing in my apartment, halfway through folding laundry, a towel still clutched in my other hand. The television was on in the background, some cooking show I wasn't really watching. I read it again, then a fourth time, hoping the words would somehow rearrange themselves into something different. My thumb hovered over the screen. I could call him right now. I could ask what happened, what I'd done wrong, why this was happening. I could beg him to explain, to give me a chance to fix it. I could tell him I loved him, that he was my whole world. Instead, I typed 2 words, understood. I hit send before I could second-guess myself, before the weakness could creep in. Before we continue, we ask you to subscribe and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We would like to get to know our audience better. I set the phone face down on the counter and walked to my bedroom. The silence felt thick. I pulled my suitcase from the closet, the same one I'd bought 10 years ago for a nursing conference in Chicago. It still had the baggage tag attached, my name written in Josh's teenage handwriting. I began packing slowly and carefully, step by step. Clothes first, as always. I grabbed items from hangers without much thought, just pulling them down one by one. Jeans, sweaters, the comfortable scrubs I wore for work. I also picked up the blue dress I'd worn to Josh's college graduation, the one that brought back so many memories. Next, I moved to the bathroom, grabbing toiletries, my toothbrush without a second thought, my medication for high pressure, a reminder of all the late nights and stress from years of working shifts. There was also the face cream Josh had given me for Christmas 2 years ago, still half full, unused. Lastly, I grabbed the framed photo of Josh at his graduation. In the photo, he's smiling at me instead of the camera, a memory I wasn't ready to leave behind. I wrapped it carefully in a sweater and placed it at the bottom of the suitcase. 30 minutes later, I was done. I looked around the apartment one last time. This place had been mine for 3 years, ever since Josh moved out after college. Small but comfortable. 1 bedroom, a tiny kitchen, a living room that doubled as my dining room. The rent was reasonable. The neighborhood was quiet. I'd made it home because Josh would visit, because on Sundays sometimes he'd come over and I'd make breakfast and we'd sit at my small table and talk about his week. Those mornings had been the highlight of my existence. Now they were over. I grabbed my keys and left without locking the door behind me. What was the point? The drive to my sister's house took 40 minutes through empty roads. She lived in a suburb outside Hartford, Connecticut, far enough that Josh wouldn't think to look for me there. Not that he would look. That much was clear from his message. Amy answered the door in her bathrobe, her face creased with sleep and concern. She'd been my baby sister once, the one I'd protected on the playground. Now she was 43 with 2 teenagers and a husband who traveled for work. "Clear? What's wrong?" Her voice was soft. "Can I stay here for a while?" I asked. She pulled me inside without another question. She made tea I didn't drink. She offered food I couldn't eat. She asked if I wanted to talk, and when I said no, she just nodded and showed me to the guest room. The room had pale yellow walls and a window overlooking her backyard. That night, lying in Amy's guest room, I replayed every conversation I'd had with Josh over the past 6 months. Looking for the moment it all went wrong. I found it in October. Josh had brought Laura to my place for dinner. It was only the second time I'd met her. The first had been a brief coffee meeting where she'd smiled politely and checked her phone every 5 minutes. This dinner was supposed to be different. She was pretty in that carefully constructed way, with perfect makeup and perfectly styled hair. She wore designer jeans and a silk blouse. Her jewelry was minimal but expensive. She worked in marketing for a boutique firm in Manhattan. She loved hiking and yoga. She and Josh had met at a networking event 9 months earlier. "Mom's a nurse," Josh said when Laura asked about me. "Works nights mostly at Mount Sinai, emergency room." "That must be so hard," Laura said, but her eyes were already scanning my apartment like she was cataloguing its flaws. The worn couch, the scratched coffee table, the carpet that needed replacing. I saw my home through her eyes and felt ashamed. I'd made lasagna, Josh's favorite since he was 8 years old. I'd spent 3 hours on it, making the sauce from scratch with fresh tomatoes and herbs, layering it carefully, adding extra cheese the way he liked it. I'd set the table with my good dishes. I'd even bought expensive wine. Laura picked at it, moving it around her plate. "This is delicious," she said, but she'd only eaten maybe 3 bites. I had a late lunch. 10 minutes later, she pushed her plate away with most of the food untouched. "I'm sorry. I'm trying to eat cleaner these days. Less processed food. My nutritionist says it's better for inflammation." "It's from scratch," I said. "Everything." "Oh, I know. It's just, all that cheese and pasta. Not great for my system, but it smells wonderful." Josh said nothing. He kept eating, but something in his posture had changed. Defensive, protective, but not of me, of her. After dinner, I offered to show Laura the photo albums from Josh's childhood. I had boxes of them. Pictures from his first day of school, his little league games, his science fair projects, his high school graduation. She smiled politely and looked at her phone. "That sounds lovely, but I have an early meeting tomorrow. Big presentation. I really should get going." They left 20 minutes later. Josh's hug goodbye was brief, distracted. "Thanks for dinner, Mum," he said automatically. "Come back soon," I told him. "Both of you. Any time." He never did. The text started after that, short responses to my questions. I'd text him Monday mornings asking how his weekend was. He'd reply hours later with one word. "Good." I'd ask if he wanted to come over for dinner on Sunday. He'd say he was busy. "Busy at work. Can't this weekend. Laura and I have plans." Every response felt like a door closing. I should have seen it coming, but mothers are blind to these things. We think our children will always need us, always want us. We think the bond is unbreakable. We're wrong. I spent the next 3 days at Amy's house, barely leaving the guest room. She brought me food I didn't eat and tea that went cold on the nightstand. She didn't ask questions. She just sat with me sometimes while I stared at the wall. On the 4th day, I picked up my phone and opened Instagram. I'd created an account years ago, but barely used it. But Josh's profile was public. I'd never followed him, never liked his posts. I'd respected his privacy. Now, scrolling through his feed, I saw what he'd been building without me. Photos of him and Laura everywhere, hiking trips in the Catskills, restaurant dinners at expensive places, weekend getaways to Vermont and Cape Cod, concerts, museums, parties with friends I didn't recognize, captions full of hashtags and inside jokes, comments from people who knew my son better than I did. And then I saw Laura's profile. She had 15,000 followers. Her bio said, "Lifestyle blogger and brand consultant, living my best life in NYC." Her feed was professionally curated. Photos of Josh cooking breakfast in golden morning light, videos of them dancing in their living room, long captions about finding your person and building a life together. I scrolled back through months of posts. Then I found the one from 3 weeks ago. Laura sitting on their couch, looking pensively out a window. Perfect lighting. The caption was long. Sometimes growth means making hard choices. Sometimes it means setting boundaries with people who drain your energy, even if they're family. It's not selfish to protect your peace. The people who truly love you will understand and support your happiness, not try to control it. I'm learning that family isn't just about shared connections. Family is the people who show up, who celebrate your wins, who respect your choices. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is let go of people who can't be that for you. The comments were full of support. So proud of you. You're glowing. This is so brave. Family doesn't mean you owe them anything. Setting boundaries is self-care. I read that post 7 times. Each time, something inside me changed, hardened, crystallized into something cold and sharp. She was talking about me, about Josh cutting me out, making herself the hero where I was the villain. 15,000 people cheering her on for convincing my son to abandon his mother. I sat in Amy's guest room and something clicked into place, a clarity I'd never felt before. If Laura wanted to make me the villain, fine, I'd be the villain, but I'd be the kind of villain who wins. I created a burner account and started taking notes, detailed notes. This wasn't about anger anymore. This was about strategy. This was about showing them exactly what happens when you underestimate someone who has nothing left to lose. I smiled for the first time in 4 days. Not a sad smile, a dangerous one. The first strike had to be surgical. I'd spent 26 years as an ER nurse reading people, understanding what made them tick, finding their weaknesses. Now I would use that skill for something else entirely. I spent 2 full days studying Laura's online presence. Every post, every comment, every tweet. She documented everything, sharing every intimate detail of her life with Josh for strangers to consume. She thought she was building authenticity. What she was really building was a target. Between the filtered photos and inspirational captions, I found exactly what I needed. The cracks in her perfect facade. December post about minor disagreements over holiday plans they'd worked through with love and communication. The photo showed them kissing under mistletoe, but I could see it. Josh's smile was strained. His shoulders were tense. His eyes looked tired. January blog entry about the challenges of merging finances when partners have different spending philosophies. 3 full paragraphs about Josh's impulsive spending habits and lack of financial planning before she pivoted to how they'd grown closer through conflict. She'd publicly called my son financially irresponsible to her entire audience. February tweet at 11:34 p.m. Why is it so hard for some people to admit when they're wrong? Posted late at night, posted after a fight. Another tweet from early March at 2:17 a.m. Love is choosing someone every day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. 2 in the morning, when normal couples are asleep, when something is very wrong. She was documenting their problems without even realizing it. She thought she was showing growth and authenticity. What she was really showing was that their relationship was falling apart, and she was too invested in her brand to admit it. Perfect. I started small and strategic. I created multiple burner accounts across different platforms, each with its own personality, its own posting history, its own believability. Reddit comment on a relationship advice thread. My friend is dating this guy who seemed perfect at first, but now she's constantly posting about their growth journey and communication challenges. I'm starting to wonder if that's just code for, my relationship is a disaster, but I'm too invested to admit it. Has anyone else noticed influencers do this? Facebook comment in a young professionals group. Does anyone else get annoyed by couples who overshare their relationship online? I know this couple who posts constantly about how perfect they are, but my friend who lives in their building says they fight all the time, like screaming matches. Makes you wonder what's real and what's just content. Forum post on a marketing professional site. Interesting case study in authenticity versus performance. There's this lifestyle blogger I follow who built her entire platform around her relationship, but it's starting to come out that a lot of it was staged or exaggerated for engagement. Anyone else seeing this trend? I never mentioned names, never posted photos, just enough specific details that anyone who followed Laura would recognize the pattern, the wellness language, the constant posting about communication and growth, the Brooklyn location, the tech boyfriend. Within 48 hours, it spread exactly as I knew it would. Screenshots appeared on Twitter. Someone created a thread on a gossip forum, crowdsourcing clues about who the couple might be. People started comparing notes. Wait, does the guy work in tech? Is she a lifestyle blogger? Brooklyn couple? I think I know who this is. The internet loves a mystery. More than that, the internet loves watching perfect people turn out to be frauds. Laura's carefully constructed image started cracking. Her comments section filled with questions. Is everything okay? Are you guys having problems? This feels different than your usual posts. Her follower count started dropping. Slowly at first, 100 here, 200 there, then faster. I watched it all with detached fascination. This was easier than I thought it would be. Laura had done most of the work herself by oversharing every detail of her life. All I had to do was point people toward what was already there. Then Josh called me. I was at work, 3 hours into my shift, checking vitals on a patient with chest pain. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I saw his name and felt a surge of satisfaction, right on schedule. I stepped into the supply closet and answered. Mum. His voice was tight with panic. Did you see what people are saying about me and Laura online? I don't know what you're talking about. My voice was perfectly calm, neutral, concerned but not involved. Someone's been posting about us, about our relationship, personal stuff that only someone close to us would know, stuff about our fights and our problems. Laura thinks someone's doing this on purpose. She thinks someone close to us is trying to sabotage her. That's terrible. Who would do something like that? I don't know. That's why I'm calling. Have you seen anything? Heard anything? Laura's followers are asking questions. People are messaging her, asking if her relationship is fake. Her engagement is way down. She's freaking out. Her engagement is down. That's what you're worried about. Yes, Mom. She's a brand consultant. Her whole career depends on her online presence. And now people think she's been lying about us, about our relationship, about everything. Has she been lying? Long silence. Very telling. No, he said finally. She hasn't been lying. She's been sharing our life. That's what influencers do. That's her job. Influencers? Is that what she is? I thought she was your girlfriend. Mom, can you please just tell me if you've heard anything? Seen anything? Any gossip from your friends or people you know? I've been staying with your Aunt Amy. I haven't been talking to anyone about you and Laura. I don't even know anyone who follows lifestyle bloggers. I barely know how Instagram works. More silence. I could hear him breathing, could picture him pacing their apartment, running his hand through his hair the way he always did when he was stressed. Look, Mom, about that text. I was upset. Laura and I had been having conversations about boundaries, about family dynamics, and I overreacted. You told me we were finished. That's not overreacting. That's making a very clear statement. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. How did you mean it then? Explain it to me. Because I read that text maybe 100 times, and it seemed pretty straightforward. Don't come over, don't call, we're finished. 3 sentences. 26 years, reduced to 3 sentences. I was trying to set a boundary. Laura helped me see that I needed to be more direct with you, that you didn't always respect my space, that you were too involved in my life. Too involved? I called you once a week. I invited you to dinner once a month. That's too involved. It's not about the frequency, Mom. It's about the energy, the guilt, the way you made me feel bad every time I couldn't come over or didn't call back right away. I never made you feel guilty, Josh. Yes, you did. You always have. My whole life. Every choice I made that wasn't what you wanted, you made me pay for it. Every girlfriend you didn't approve of. Every job that took me further away. Every decision that was mine instead of yours. You couldn't let me be my own person. Laura helped me see that. I see. So Laura helped you see that your mother, who raised you alone, was actually just a controlling burden. How enlightening for you. That's not what I'm saying. Then what are you saying? Because it sounds like Laura convinced you that the woman who worked night shifts for 20 years so she could be home with you during the day, who gave up dating and friends and any kind of personal life so you could have everything you needed, who sacrificed everything for you, is actually the bad guy in your story. Mom, please. This isn't helping. Someone is sabotaging us. Someone is trying to destroy Laura's career and our relationship. If you know anything, if you've heard anything, please tell me. I can't help you with this, Josh. Whatever's happening between you and Laura is your problem. You made your choice. You chose her over me. That's fine, but don't call me now just because you need something. Don't call me because your girlfriend's Instagram numbers are down. That's not fair. Isn't it? You sent me a text message telling me we were finished. No explanation, no conversation, just done. And now you're calling me because your girlfriend is having a social media crisis. Do you even hear yourself? I'm calling because someone close to us is doing this and I thought you might know who. You thought I might know who, or you thought it might be me. Silence. Guilty silence. That's what you really think, isn't it? I said. You called to accuse me, not to ask for help. You called because Laura convinced you that I'm the villain in your perfect Instagram story. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. I can hear it in your voice. Well, here's the truth, Josh. I haven't posted anything about you. I haven't gossiped about you. I've been respecting the boundary you set. You said we were finished, and I listened. I packed my things and I left and I gave you exactly what you asked for. If your relationship is falling apart now, that has nothing to do with me. That's because it was never as perfect as Laura's feed made it seem. You're wrong. Am I? Then why are you calling me? Why not call her friends, her colleagues, her family? Why is your first instinct to blame your mother? He didn't have an answer for that. I have to get back to work, Josh. I have patients who actually need me. Real emergencies, not social media crises. Good luck with your problem. I hope you and Laura figure it out. I hung up before he could respond. My hands weren't shaking. My heart wasn't racing. I felt perfectly calm, perfectly in control. This was power. Real power. The kind that doesn't need anger or tears or drama. Just strategy, just precision, just knowing exactly where to push. I went back to my rounds, checked on my patients, administered medications, smiled at the doctors, joked with the other nurses. Nobody could tell. Nobody knew what I was planning. Nobody suspected that reliable, kind, hard-working Claire was capable of what I was doing. That was my greatest weapon. Nobody ever suspects the nice woman, the tired nurse, the devoted mother. They see what they expect to see. They never look deeper. During my next break, I checked the forums. The speculation about Josh and Laura had taken on a life of its own. Someone had found Laura's old tweets from before she met Josh. Posts where she'd complained about her ex-boyfriend's mommy issues and his inability to make decisions without checking with his mother first. The hypocrisy was too perfect, too delicious. People were creating side-by-side comparisons. Laura's old tweets about her ex next to her new posts, about boundaries and growth. She literally left her last boyfriend for the same thing she's posting about now. The call is coming from inside the house. Pick a lane, Laura. Her follower count had dropped below 12,000. 5 days ago, she had 15,000. Now she was losing hundreds of followers a day. I smiled and got back to work. I went back to my apartment after a week at Amy's. She'd been asking too many questions about why I seemed so calm, why I was on my phone so much, why I looked almost happy despite everything. I'm just trying to move forward, I told her. What else can I do? She seemed satisfied with that. People always accept the answer that makes them comfortable. I settled back into my routine. Night shifts at the hospital, the familiar rhythm of checking vitals and administering medications. During my breaks, I monitored my handiwork. The speculation about Josh and Laura continued to grow. Someone created a whole Twitter thread analyzing Laura's posts for signs of trouble. Her old blog entries were being resurrected and picked apart. People were taking screenshots of her captions and highlighting the contradictions. Laura tried to ignore it at first. She kept posting her usual content: morning coffee aesthetics, outfit photos, motivational quotes about growth and authenticity. But her comment section had changed. Where there used to be heart emojis and supportive messages, now there were questions. Is everything okay with you and Josh? Why aren't you posting him anymore? Are you guys still together? This feels forced. She was losing control of her narrative. Her perfectly curated life was being questioned. Her brand was being damaged. And there was nothing she could do about it because everything people were finding was real. Her own words, her own posts, her own contradictions. Finally, she addressed it. An Instagram story, late on a Thursday night. She was sitting on their couch, no makeup, wearing Josh's hoodie, trying to look vulnerable and authentic. I want to be real with you guys, she said, her voice shaky. Josh and I are going through a tough time right now. Relationships aren't always perfect despite what social media shows. We have fights, we have disagreements, we're human, but we're committed to working through this together. We're committed to being honest, both with each other and with you. So, yeah, things are hard right now, but that doesn't make what we have any less real. The response was immediate and brutal. You literally posted last month calling him your soulmate. So you have been lying to us. This is exactly why I don't trust influencers. Unfollow. Fake. Her follow count dropped below 10,000 that night. Josh stopped calling me after that first conversation. I wondered if Laura had forbidden it, or if he'd finally understood that I wasn't going to be his rescue squad. Either way, I felt nothing but satisfaction. 3 weeks after that first text message, Amy invited herself over to my apartment. She showed up on a Saturday morning with bagels and coffee and a determined expression. We need to talk, she said, sitting at my kitchen table without being invited. About what? I was folding laundry, keeping my hands busy. About you, about how you're doing. You've been different since you came back from my place. Calmer, which should be good, but something feels off. I'm fine, Amy. I'm dealing with it. I'm moving on with my life. By doing what? You're working double shifts. You're not seeing friends. You're not doing anything except work and sit in this apartment. And every time I call you, you sound, I don't know, distant. Maybe that's what healing looks like for me. Not everyone falls apart dramatically. Some of us just keep going. She studied my face. That's what worries me. You should be falling apart a little. Your son sent you a text message ending your relationship. You should be devastated. Instead, you seem almost content. Would you prefer I be a mess? Would that make you feel better? I'd prefer you be honest with me about what you're feeling. I feel fine. I feel like I'm finally seeing things clearly. Josh made his choice. He chose a girl he barely knows over his mother. That tells me everything I need to know about who he is now. So I'm letting him go. I'm moving on. Isn't that what everyone wants me to do? Amy reached across the table, trying to take my hand. I pulled it back. Clea, I'm worried about you. This cold, detached thing you're doing isn't healthy. It's not normal. Maybe normal doesn't work for me anymore. Maybe I tried normal my whole life, and all it got me was used and discarded. Maybe it's time to try something different. What does that mean? It means I'm done being the person everyone expects me to be. The understanding mother, the martyr, the one who sacrifices everything and asks for nothing in return. That person got me nowhere. So she's gone now. Amy stood up. I don't like who you're becoming. You don't have to like it. It's not about you. She left soon after that, taking her bagels and coffee in concern with her. I didn't care. I had work to do. That afternoon, I opened my laptop and started the next phase. I'd been saving the best information for last. The piece that would destroy not just Laura's image, but her relationship with Josh completely. Laura had an ex-boyfriend, Brian Thomas. According to his Facebook profile, he still lived in Brooklyn, just 15 blocks from where Josh and Laura lived. According to archived messages I'd found on an old blog Laura had abandoned years ago, they'd been talking recently. The messages were from February, 2 months before Josh sent me that text. Before Laura started posting about boundaries and toxic family, before she convinced Josh to cut me out. Laura had reached out first. "Hey stranger, been thinking about you lately. How's life treating you?" Brian responded within hours. They moved the conversation to text. She asked if he wanted to get coffee and catch up. He said yes. They met 3 times in February. She documented none of it on her social media. Her 15,000 followers knew nothing about it. Josh certainly didn't know. The conversations were revealing, flirty, nostalgic, full of "remember when we," and "I miss how we used to," and "things were so much simpler back then." She complained about Josh, said he was too attached to his mother, and couldn't make a decision without asking her opinion first, and still acted like a child in so many ways. She told Brian that sometimes she wondered if she'd settled, if she'd chosen Josh because he was safe and stable, not because he was what she really wanted. Brian ate it up, told her she deserved better, suggested they get dinner next time instead of just coffee, hinted at wanting to get back together, at picking up where they'd left off. Laura said maybe, said she needed to think about it, said her relationship with Josh was complicated and she wasn't sure what she wanted anymore. Then the messages stopped abruptly in early March. No explanation, no closure. Either Laura got cold feet or decided Josh was worth keeping, or realized her entire career would implode if people found out she was emotionally cheating on the boyfriend she'd built her brand around. But the messages existed, cached, archived, available to anyone who knew where to look. I took screenshots of everything, every message, every flirty emoji, every complaint about Josh, every moment of doubt and betrayal. I compiled them carefully, added timestamps, made sure everything was clear and readable and damning. Then I created a new burner email and sent them to Josh. No explanation, no commentary. Just the screenshots and a single line. "Thought you should see this." I hit send and felt a rush of pure exhilaration. Now we'd see what their perfect relationship was really built on. The call came faster than I expected. It was 11 p.m. on a Wednesday. I was at work, 2 hours into my shift. My phone started buzzing. I ignored it. It kept buzzing. By the time I checked, I had 12 missed calls from Josh, 3 voicemails, 7 text messages, each more desperate than the last. "Mom, call me, please. Call me. Mom, please, I need to talk to you. Please, please, please." I stepped into the break room and called him back, taking my time, making him wait. He answered before the first ring finished. "Is this you?" His voice was wrecked, raw. He'd been crying. "Did you send me those messages?" "What messages?" I kept my voice perfectly level. The messages between Laura and her ex. Screenshots of conversations where she's talking about leaving me, about how I'm not good enough, about how she misses her ex-boyfriend. Someone sent them to me from an anonymous email. "Was it you?" "Josh, I don't know what you're talking about. What conversations?" "Her ex from college, Brian. She's been meeting up with him behind my back, talking to him about me, complaining about me, planning to leave me maybe. And someone sent me proof, screenshots of everything. It had to be you. Who else would do this?" "I honestly have no idea. I've been working 60-hour weeks. I barely have time to sleep. How would I even get access to your girlfriend's private messages? Then who? Who else would have these? Who else would care enough to send them to me?" "Maybe someone who actually cares about you," I said carefully. "Maybe someone who saw that Laura was being dishonest and wanted you to know the truth before you wasted more time on her." "She wasn't being dishonest. Those messages were from months ago, February, before we were really serious, before we committed to each other. She admitted everything when I confronted her. She apologized. She explained. She chose you after calling you a mama's boy to her ex-boyfriend, after meeting up with him multiple times without telling you, after building her entire career on how perfect and authentic your relationship is, while secretly keeping her options open with her ex. And you're defending her. Silence. Heavy silence. Did you confront her? I asked. Of course I confronted her. I showed her the screenshots. She broke down, started crying, said she was so ashamed that she'd made a terrible mistake. She said Brian had been the one reaching out, manipulating her, trying to get her back when he knew she was in a vulnerable place. She swore nothing physical happened, just coffee and talking. She swore she realized Brian was wrong for her and I was right for her. That's why she stopped responding to him. And you believed her. Yes, I believed her, because she didn't have to admit to anything. She could have denied it all, claimed the screenshots were fake, but she didn't. She owned it. She took responsibility. That's what matters. What matters is that she was emotionally cheating on you while posting about boundaries and authenticity online. What matters is that she was complaining about you to her ex while building a brand around your relationship. What matters is that she kept all of this hidden until someone forced her hand. Someone. You mean you. I mean someone who cared enough about you to show you the truth. Someone who saw through her performance to who she really is. His breathing changed, got sharper, angrier. You know what? You're right. It was someone who cares about me. Someone who's been sabotaging us from the beginning. Someone who can't stand that I'm happy without her. Someone who's been systematically destroying my relationship because she can't let me go. Josh, don't. Just don't. I know it was you, Mum. The posts about us online, the gossip, the anonymous emails, all of it. It has your fingerprints all over it, the timing, the detail, the way it's all designed to break us up. You've been doing this from the start. I said nothing. Let him talk. Let him work himself up. You want to know why I chose her? His voice cracked. You want to know why I sent that text? Because being around you was exhausting. Every single conversation was a guilt trip. Every phone call ended with you making me feel bad for not calling enough, not visiting enough, not needing you enough. You couldn't just be happy I was building my own life. You had to make it about you, about how lonely you were, about how much you sacrificed, about how much I owed you. Laura helped me see that I don't owe you anything, that I'm allowed to have my own life without feeling guilty about it. You don't owe me anything. Interesting. That came out wrong. No, you meant it. Laura taught you well. She taught you that mothers are disposable, that gratitude is toxic, that family is optional, and you learned the lesson perfectly. Mom, that's not what I'm saying. Then what are you saying, Josh? Because it sounds like you're telling me that the woman who raised you alone, who worked night shifts for 20 years so she could be home with you during the day, who gave up every chance at her own life so you could have opportunities, is actually just a burden you needed to shed. I'm saying you couldn't let me go. You couldn't let me be my own person. And when I finally set a boundary, you did exactly what Laura said you'd do. You tried to destroy my relationship. You tried to make me come running back to you. You proved her right about everything. And where is Laura now, Josh? Where's this woman who loves you so much? The one who was committed to working through things with you? She's at her friend's place. She needed space to process after I confronted her. After I showed her that someone had violated her privacy and sent her private messages to me. She's devastated. She's devastated. Not about emotionally cheating on you, about getting caught. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. You taught me that when you sent me a text message ending our relationship. I didn't end our relationship. I set a boundary. When the boundary is, don't contact me ever again, that's ending a relationship. But fine, call it whatever makes you feel better. The point is, you chose Laura. You chose someone who was using you for content and keeping her ex-boyfriend on standby over your own mother. So now you get to live with that choice. You're doing this. You're the one contacting her sponsors and posting about us and sending me these messages. Just admit it. Even if I were doing what you're accusing me of, why would it be wrong? Why is it wrong to show you the truth about someone who's been lying to you? Why is it wrong to expose someone who built their career on a fake version of your relationship? Because she's a person, because she's someone I love, because you're destroying her life just to hurt me. I'm not destroying anything. If her life is falling apart, it's because it was built on lies. That's not my fault. You need help, serious help. This isn't normal. Maybe I'm finally healthy. Maybe I finally stopped letting people use me and throw me away. Maybe I finally learned that love and sacrifice just make you a victim unless you're willing to fight back. Is that what you think you're doing? Fighting back? I think I'm teaching you a lesson about consequences. You chose to cut me out of your life, fine, but you don't get to do that without learning what it costs. You don't get to throw away the person who loved you most and just move on like nothing happened. You're sick. I'm clear, probably for the first time in my life. I need to go. Laura's calling. I need to make sure she's okay. Of course you do. Run to Laura. Make sure she's okay. That's what's important now. Mom, have a good life, Josh. You and Laura deserve each other. I hung up, sat in the break room, breathing normally, heart rate steady, feeling absolutely nothing except deep satisfaction. One of the other nurses poked her head in. You okay, Clear? Perfect, I said. Just a family thing. All handled now. She left. I waited a few minutes, then went back to my rounds. Checked vitals, administered medications, smiled at patients, professional, competent, completely in control. Inside, I was celebrating. 3 days later, I made my final strike. I'd been patient, let Josh and Laura try to salvage things, let them think the worst was over, let them believe they could survive this. They couldn't. I'd been researching Laura's sponsors, the companies that paid her to promote their products, her entire income stream, her career, everything she'd built. I made a detailed list, cross-referenced with marketing directors and brand managers, found email addresses, prepared my approach, then I crafted the perfect email. Professional tone, concerned consumer. I've been following this lifestyle influencer and noticed some concerning patterns I thought you should be aware of as a brand partner. I attached screenshots, Laura's old tweets about buying followers and photoshopping her pictures, her recent posts about relationship problems after months of claiming perfection, her declining engagement rates, evidence that her audience was turning against her, everything that would make a brand nervous about association. I sent it to 6 companies, each from a different burner email, each spaced out over 2 days so it wouldn't look coordinated. The responses came within 48 hours. 3 companies thanked me for bringing it to their attention. 2 said they'd be investigating. 1 didn't respond, but I saw Laura's sponsored post for them disappear the next day. Within a week, it was done. Every sponsored post on Laura's feed vanished. The ads in her Instagram stories stopped appearing. Her pinned partnership posts got unpinned. She posted a video on Friday afternoon, sitting on their couch, looking destroyed. I need to be honest with you guys about something difficult. Several of my brand partnerships have ended recently. Some of it is normal business, contracts ending, brands going in different directions. But some of it is because of things that have been said about me online. Things that aren't true. Things that are misleading or taken out of context. I'm working with a lawyer to figure out who's been spreading false information about me and why. This isn't just affecting my career anymore. It's affecting my livelihood, my ability to pay my rent, my future. If anyone has information about who's been doing this, please reach out to me. Please help me stop this. The comments were split but mostly brutal. Maybe get a real job. This is what happens when you build your life on social media. Actions have consequences. Shouldn't have lied to begin with. No sympathy. Her follower count dropped below 7,000. I watched it all with clinical detachment. This was the endgame. This was what happened when you convinced someone's son to abandon them. When you built your career on lies. When you underestimated someone because they seemed nice and harmless. Josh called me that night. I almost didn't answer, but I wanted to hear it. Wanted to hear him broken. "Mum, I need your help." His voice was small, young, defeated. "With what, Josh?" "Laura's career is completely falling apart. She lost all her sponsors, every single one. She thinks someone's been systematically contacting them, sending them information about her. Bad information, making her look dishonest and unreliable. She's talking about hiring a lawyer. She's talking about suing people. Mom, I don't know what to do. She's completely falling apart and I don't know how to help her." "Why are you calling me?" "Because I don't know who else to call. Because despite everything, you're still my mother. Because I need help." "Despite everything." Interesting way to put it. "Please, Mom, please. I know I hurt you. I know I said terrible things, but I'm begging you. If you know anything, if you've heard anything, please tell me. Please help me fix this." "I can't fix this for you. You're an adult. You made your choices. Now you have to live with the consequences." "What does that mean?" "It means you chose Laura over me. You chose a relationship built on Instagram posts and lies over a relationship built on 26 years of sacrifice and love. Those were your choices, Josh. I'm not responsible for fixing them. You're doing this. I know you are. You're the one contacting her sponsors. You're the one destroying her career. Admit it. Even if I were doing what you're accusing me of, why would it matter? Why is it my responsibility to protect someone who convinced you to abandon your mother? Why should I care about Laura's career when she didn't care about destroying my relationship with you? Because she's a person. Because she's someone I love. Because what you're doing is cruel. Cruel, that's an interesting word. Was it cruel when Laura posted about toxic family members to 15,000 strangers? Was it cruel when she convinced you to send me a text message ending our relationship? Was it cruel when she built her brand on your relationship while meeting with her ex-boyfriend behind your back? Where was your concern about cruelty then? That's different. How? Explain to me how it's different. Because you're my mother. You're supposed to be better than this. You're supposed to love me unconditionally. I do love you unconditionally. That's why I'm teaching you this lesson. That's why I'm showing you what happens when you throw away someone who actually loves you for someone who's just using you. This is love, Josh. Real love. The kind that doesn't let you destroy yourself without consequences. This isn't love. This is revenge. Maybe they're the same thing. Maybe real love means not letting someone you love make terrible decisions without showing them the cost. You're sick. You need professional help. I'm clear-headed, probably for the first time in my entire life. I spent 26 years sacrificing everything for you, being the perfect mother, the understanding mother, the mother who put you first always. And where did it get me? A text message saying, "We're finished." So yes, Josh, I stopped being that person. I stopped being someone you could use and discard. And now you're learning what happens when you treat people like they're disposable. Please stop. Please. Just stop doing whatever you're doing. I'll do anything. I'll apologize. I'll come over. We can talk. We can fix this. Just please stop hurting Laura. I'm not hurting Laura. The truth is hurting Laura. Her own lies are hurting Laura. I'm just making sure people see who she really is. She's not a bad person. She made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. And everyone pays for their mistakes. That's how the world works. What do you want from me? What do you want me to do? I want you to understand what you did. I want you to realize that actions have consequences. I want you to know that you can't throw away the person who loved you most and just move on like nothing happened. I understand. I get it. I was wrong. Is that what you want to hear? I was wrong to send that text. I was wrong to cut you out. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please just stop. Too late for sorry, Josh. It's never too late. We're family. You ended that, remember? We're finished. Your words. I didn't mean them. Yes, you did. You absolutely meant them. And now you're learning what it feels like to lose something you took for granted. Please, Mom. I have to go. Work calls. People who actually need me for real problems, not social media crises. Mom, wait. I hung up. Blocked his number. For real this time. I sat in the break room for a long moment. Then I smiled. Really smiled. Not the fake smile I gave patients, or the polite smile I gave coworkers. A real smile. The smile of someone who just won. I deleted all my burner accounts, cleared all the evidence, covered my tracks completely. Even if Josh or Laura went to the police, they'd find nothing. No proof, no trail. Just suspicions and accusations they couldn't back up. I went back to work feeling lighter than I had in years. Amy found out exactly 1 week later. She showed up at my apartment unannounced with my laptop bag in her hands. You left this at my place last time, she said. I opened it to check something. You forgot to log out of your email. I reached for the bag. She pulled it back. I saw everything, she said. The burner accounts, the emails to Laura's sponsors, all of it. That's private. You destroyed that girl's career. You systematically ruined their relationship. For what? Revenge? Yes, for revenge, and I'm not ashamed of it. You should be. This is wrong, Claire. This is sick. What's sick is a girl convincing my son to abandon his mother. What's sick is building a career on lies. What's sick is emotionally cheating while preaching about authenticity online. I just exposed the truth. That's not wrong. That's justice. Josh is devastated. He called me crying. He knows it was you. Good. He should be devastated. He should feel exactly what I felt when he sent me that text. He's your son. He was my son. He ended that relationship, remember? We're finished. He said it himself. You need help, professional help. What you've done isn't normal. Normal doesn't work for me anymore. Normal got me discarded. So I chose something different. Amy set the laptop bag down. Josh wants to talk to you. He's outside in his car. He's been too afraid to come up alone. He wants me here when he talks to you. I have nothing to say to him. You owe him a conversation. I don't owe him anything. He made that very clear. Claire, please. He's your son. Whatever he did, he's still your son. Then he can come up here and face me. Tell him to come up, alone. You leave. Amy looked uncertain. Are you sure that's a good idea? I'm sure. Tell him to come up or don't come at all. She left. I waited. 30 seconds later, someone knocked on my door. I opened it. Josh stood in my doorway, looking like he'd aged 5 years in 2 months. Unshaven, gaunt, dark circles under his tired eyes, clothes hanging off him as if he'd lost weight, but his eyes were clear, focused, determined. Can I come in? He asked. I stepped aside. He walked into my living room like he was entering enemy territory, hands in his pockets, shoulders tense. He sat on the edge of my couch without being invited. Laura and I broke up, he said without preamble. I know. Of course you know. You made it happen. I didn't make anything happen. I just showed you the truth about who she was. You destroyed her career. You cost her everything she'd worked for, years of building her brand gone. Because of you. Because of her lies. I just made sure people saw them. Why? Why did you do this to us? You really have to ask? Because of one text message? Because I tried to set a boundary? You didn't set a boundary. You ended our relationship. There's a difference. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. Fine, yes. I ended it. I was wrong. I was really wrong. I see that now. Laura and I talked before we broke up. Really talked. She admitted that she'd been pushing me to cut you out. She said she saw you as competition for my attention. She was jealous of how much I cared about you. She wanted me all to herself, and I was too stupid to see it, too wrapped up in being in love to realize she was manipulating me. So you admit she was using you? Yes, I admit it. You were right about her. She wasn't who I thought she was. The whole perfect relationship thing was performance. Content for her feed. She told me that during our breakup. She said she'd exaggerated how great we were because it was good for engagement. She said she'd kept things going even when she had doubts, because her brand depended on it. She was using me. You were right. I usually am. But that doesn't make what you did okay. That doesn't justify destroying her career and systematically manipulating our relationship. Doesn't it? She convinced you to throw away your mother. Why shouldn't she pay for that? Because revenge doesn't fix anything. It just makes everything worse. I don't have Laura anymore, but I don't have you either. You made sure I'd be completely alone. You made yourself alone when you sent me that text. I know. He stood up and started pacing. I know I did. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. I've known it since the day I sent it. But I didn't know how to fix it. Laura kept telling me you'd try to manipulate me if I reached out. She kept saying you'd guilt-trip me, make me feel bad, and try to control me again. So I stayed away. I convinced myself you were toxic, that cutting you out was the healthy choice. And the whole time, I was miserable. The whole time, I missed you. You missed me. How touching. Don't do that. Don't be sarcastic. I'm trying to be honest with you. Honest? That's rich coming from someone who sent a breakup text to his mother. He stopped pacing, looked at me directly. You want honesty? Fine. Here's honesty. You were right about everything. Laura was fake. Our relationship was fake. I was an idiot for choosing her over you. I hurt the person who loved me most to impress a girl who was just using me. I threw away 26 years for 8 months of Instagram posts. I was wrong. Completely, totally, utterly wrong. Keep going. What? Keep going. I want to hear all of it. He sat back down, looked at the floor. You sacrificed everything for me. I know you did. You worked nights so you could be home during the day when I was little. You gave up dating so you could focus on raising me. You put every penny you earned into making sure I had what I needed. You were always there. Always. And I took all of that for granted. I treated you like you were disposable. Like your love was guaranteed no matter what I did. I was selfish and stupid and cruel. More. I let Laura convince me that your love was toxic. That wanting to be part of my life meant you were controlling. That calling me once a week meant you were smothering me. She twisted everything you did into something negative because she wanted me isolated from anyone who might see through her. And I let her do it. I believed her over you. I chose her word over everything I knew about you, everything you'd shown me my entire life. And I'm sorry. I'm so deeply sorry, Mom. I'm sorry for that message. I'm sorry for cutting you out of my life. I'm sorry for believing all the things Laura said about you, the lies that made me turn away. I'm sorry for not seeing what you were sacrificing for me, for not appreciating everything you've done. I'm sorry for taking you for granted and not recognizing the love and care you always gave. I'm sorry for all of it, for every mistake I made, and for not being the person I should have been. I let the silence stretch out, watched him squirm, watched him wait for forgiveness that wasn't coming. You're sorry, I said finally. That's nice. That fixes everything. I know it doesn't fix everything. I know sorry isn't enough. But it's all I have. I'm asking you, begging you, please. Can we start over? Can we try to fix this? Why would I want to? He looked up, shocked. Because I'm your son. You were my son. You ended that. Remember, we're finished. I didn't mean it. Yes, you did. You absolutely meant it. You meant it when Laura was whispering in your ear about toxic family members. You meant it when you were choosing her over me. You only stopped meaning it when your perfect relationship fell apart and you had no one left. That's not true. Isn't it? If you and Laura were still together, would you be here? Would you be apologizing? Or would you still be posting couple photos and pretending I didn't exist? He didn't answer. That's what I thought. Okay, fine. Maybe you're right. Maybe I wouldn't be here if Laura and I were still together. But we're not. She's gone. And I realize now what I lost. Not just her. You. I lost you. And that's so much worse. Why? Because you're my mother. Because you actually loved me. Because everything you did was real. And Laura's love wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was performance. Content. She admitted that. So, now that you know the difference, you want the real thing back. How convenient for you. It's not like that. It's exactly like that. You want me back now that you realize I was valuable. Now that you understand what you threw away. But here's the thing, Josh. I'm not interested anymore. His face went pale. What do you mean? I mean, I'm done. I'm done being the mother who sacrifices everything. I'm done being the person you can use and discard whenever it's convenient. I'm done being disposable. You're not disposable. You never were. Then why did you dispose of me? I made a mistake. Yes, you did. And now you're paying for it. That's how consequences work. So what? You got your revenge and now we're just done forever? That's it? That's it. He stood up again, started pacing faster. No, I don't accept that. You can't just destroy my relationship and then refuse to fix ours. You can't do all of this just to punish me and then walk away. Watch me. Why? Why would you do all of this if you weren't trying to get me back? I smiled. Who said I was trying to get you back? Then what was the point? What was this all for? The point was to teach you a lesson. The point was to show you what happens when you throw away someone who loves you. The point was to make sure you never forget what you did. And I succeeded. Perfectly. He stared at me. You're not even sorry. You destroyed Laura's career, ruined my relationship, made me completely alone, and you're not even sorry. Why would I be sorry? You destroyed me first. I just returned the favor. I didn't destroy you. I sent you a text message. You ended our relationship via text because a girl you'd known for less than a year told you to. You chose her over me. You threw away everything I'd done for you. You made me feel worthless, disposable, like 26 years of love meant nothing. So yes, Josh, you destroyed me, and I made sure you understood exactly how that feels. This is insane. You're insane. I'm clear. For the first time in my life, I'm completely clear about who I am and what I'm capable of. You're proud of this. You're actually proud of what you did. Yes, I am. I'm proud that I didn't just accept it. I'm proud that I fought back. I'm proud that I showed you both exactly what happens when you underestimate someone because they seem nice and harmless. He backed toward the door. You're not my mother. My mother would never do this. Your mother was weak. She let people use her. She sacrificed everything and asked for nothing. She's gone now. I'm what's left. Then I don't want what's left. Good, because I don't want you either. He opened the door, stopped, turned back one last time. I hope you're happy. I hope this revenge was worth it, because you won. You destroyed everything. Laura's career is gone. My relationship is gone. Our relationship is gone. You made sure everyone would be alone and miserable. Congratulations. I am happy, Josh. Happier than I've been in years. Because I'm not a victim anymore. Because I learned that love doesn't mean being weak. It means being strong enough to make people pay for hurting you. That's not love. That's hatred. Maybe they're the same thing. Maybe real love means not letting someone destroy you without consequences. He shook his head. Goodbye, Mum. Goodbye, Josh. He walked out. The door closed with a final click. I walked to my window and watched him get into his car. Amy was waiting for him. They talked for a moment. She looked up at my window. I waved. She looked away. Josh drove off. Amy followed in her own car. I poured myself a drink. The good whiskey. The expensive kind I'd been saving. I raised my glass to the empty apartment and smiled. A real smile. The smile of someone who'd just won completely and totally. Josh would remember this for the rest of his life. Every time he started a new relationship, he'd wonder what I'd do. Every time he thought about setting boundaries, he'd remember what happened when he tried. Every time he looked at social media, he'd remember that I showed him the truth behind the performance. I'd branded myself into his memory permanently, not as the loving mother who raised him, but as the woman who taught him that actions have consequences, as the person you don't throw away without paying the price. And Laura, her career was destroyed, her brand was gone. She'd have to start over completely, and everyone in her industry would know what happened. She'd never forget the cost of trying to erase me from my son's life. They both learned the same lesson. Don't underestimate someone just because they seem harmless. Don't throw away someone who has nothing left to lose. Don't start a war with someone who knows how to finish it. I'd won, completely, perfectly, irrevocably.